The air was heavy that night, thick with the hum of machines no one could see. Miles beneath the surface, in a cold government archive, the truth waited, buried under decades of dust and fear. Most people never question why the same stories keep repeating. They accept what they're told, what's safe. But someone, somewhere, always asks the forbidden question, what aren't we being told? It begins quietly. A report vanishes. A name is redacted. A photograph blurs in the official record. And with each erasure, the silence grows louder. For those who dig deep enough, there's a moment when the world shifts, when they realize the truth was never lost. It was hidden, on purpose. Mark Jensen had been a journalist once. His obsession began with a simple file marked "Restricted." It contained no words, only a single black and white photo of a man staring directly at the camera. The man's eyes seemed alive, aware. Mark couldn't explain it, but he felt watched. The more he searched, the more things began to vanish from his apartment. Notes, hard drives, even recordings he never shared. At first, he thought it was paranoia. Then he noticed the same black car parked near his building every night, its windows tinted like liquid glass. The day he tried to contact his editor, the phone line cut out mid-sentence. When it came back, a voice he didn't recognize whispered, "Stop looking." But he didn't stop. The deeper he went, the more he uncovered fragments of something vast, an organized effort to suppress certain truths from surfacing. Old files, declassified only by mistake, hinted at experiments on thought control, on shaping public perception itself. It wasn't about hiding events. It was about rewriting memory. If you control what people believe, you control what's real. Every civilization that tried to expose the mechanism behind that control had fallen mysteriously. Libraries burned, scholars vanished. Entire archives were erased. Mark realized the truth had never been free. It had always been managed. And those who uncovered it became ghosts before anyone could hear them. In an old bunker in West Virginia, he found the final clue, a reel of film labeled Project Echo. The film showed gatherings of leaders, their faces blurred, reciting oaths to maintain silence over what they called the continuity of illusion. He watched in horror as names he recognized appeared on screen: scientists, politicians, even journalists. People who had shaped reality itself. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Footsteps echoed behind him. Mark turned, but the projector kept rolling, casting his shadow onto the faces of the powerful. He ran, clutching the film reel, heart pounding. Outside, the night was silent. Too silent. Even the crickets had stopped. As he drove, static filled the radio. Every station repeated the same message. Truth is a contagion. Remain calm. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number read, "You've seen too much." Mark didn't go home. He drove until the gas ran out, abandoning his car by an empty field. The reel was gone when he woke the next morning. No one ever found it. No one ever found him. Only fragments of his recordings resurfaced online, posted anonymously and deleted within hours. Some say the truth still exists somewhere on the deep web, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to seek it again. But every time a user gets close, their accounts vanish. Their names disappear from databases. Their IPs dissolve into silence. Maybe the truth isn't silenced because it's dangerous. Maybe it's silenced because it's alive. And maybe, just maybe, it's watching right now, waiting for you to ask the wrong question. Because once you do, there's no going back. The deeper Claire went into the abandoned complex, the heavier the air became. Every corridor whispered secrets that seemed older than the mountains themselves. Concrete walls were cracked, covered in faded symbols that pulsed faintly in the dim light, as if alive and aware of her presence. A low hum echoed beneath her feet, vibrating through the soles of her boots, syncing with her heartbeat. She found remnants of Mark Jensen's research scattered across the floor. Notes, files, and a single photograph of the man who had vanished years ago. The photograph seemed to move under her gaze. The eyes, sharp and knowing, followed her every step. She reached a stairwell leading downward. The steps were slick with moisture, each one groaning as if protesting her intrusion. In the subterranean chamber, monitors flickered on their own, showing streams of corrupted data and brief flashes of faces she didn't recognize. A voice whispered from the shadows, deep and mechanical. Curiosity leads to visibility. Visibility leads to consequence. Claire's hands shook as she filmed the room, capturing the shifting shadows that seemed to stretch and breathe. She noticed names etched into the walls, hundreds of them. Some circled, some crossed out, and all belonging to those who had vanished before her. The hum grew louder, transforming into a low, resonant chant that vibrated in her chest. She tried to step back, but the corridor stretched infinitely, walls elongating in impossible angles, trapping her in a geometric nightmare. The monitors began displaying static faces, mouths moving in silent warnings. She could almost hear the whispers forming words she couldn't comprehend. One screen showed Mark Jensen, frozen mid-sentence, eyes wide with a terror that time itself had preserved. Another displayed a countdown, though the numbers seemed to accelerate and reverse at random, defying her sense of time. Claire's camera began to glitch, capturing multiple versions of herself in overlapping frames, as though reality itself was fracturing. She felt a cold presence behind her, tall and featureless, its form impossible to fully perceive. The voice returned, now a chorus of echoes. Truth is alive. It moves, it watches, it waits. Every step she took triggered distant doors slamming, lights flickering, and whispers growing into chants. The floor beneath her feet shifted subtly, giving the sensation that she was walking on water rather than stone. Her phone buzzed with encrypted messages she hadn't received yet, warnings that blurred the line between past and future. She stumbled upon a control room, filled with dusty levers, dials, and a central console that seemed to control something vast beyond comprehension. A reel of film lay in the console, labeled Project Echo, Final Phase. Her hands trembled as she lifted it. The reel showed gatherings of powerful figures obscured by shadows, reciting oaths to maintain the silence of the masses. She realized the truth wasn't just hidden. It was curated, monitored, and distributed in fragments to maintain the illusion of freedom. Claire tried to leave, but the corridor shifted again, as if the complex itself had consciousness. The whispers grew coherent, forming a message. Those who see cannot unsee. Those who know cannot ignore. The walls began to bleed information, words and images seeping into her mind, overwhelming her senses. She understood now. The truth was never meant to be found casually. It demanded sacrifice, focus, and a willingness to disappear. Her recordings captured her fear, confusion, and the creeping realization that every observer becomes part of the system, willingly or not. By the time she reached the exit, the morning sun was weak and gray. The building behind her seemed to vanish into the fog. Yet the whispers remained in her head, carried by the wind, through signals, through her very thoughts. She understood. The moment you seek the truth, it seeks you back. Every secret discovered comes with a price, and freedom of knowledge is always temporary. And now, as she walks among the oblivious world, she carries the warning. The truth is alive, and once you hear it, nothing will ever feel the same again.